Join us as we interview Chiqui Mabanta, the visionary behind Corner Tree Cafe. Despite her family legacy in owning multiple chain of restaurants such as Mexicali, Cafe Mediterranean, and El Chupacabra, she carved her own path by establishing her own vegetarian restaurant, Corner Tree Cafe. Discover her journey, her challenges, and her triumphs as she shares her story of entrepreneurial success. Hi, Chiqui.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you so much for guesting us, allowing us to interview you.
Thank you for
in this
inviting,
episode. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you. So, being with a family who has multiple chain of restaurants, okay, as part of your family's legacy, what specific memories or experiences stand out that ignited your passion for food and entrepreneurship?
Okay, so actually it all started as an accident or more like an unexpected thing because I was never into food and business, right? I was a psychology graduate, I was doing other things. But then they were looking for a partner in 1992 or 93 when we started Mexicali. And my two brothers says, Chiqui, do you want to join us? I'm like, yeah, okay. So that's how I got into it. But it was fun from the start because we started practicing our food on friends and I thought, wow, I didn't even know what a burrito was. It didn't exist here in Manila at the time because the only other Mexican restaurants were these proper old style, wala pang casual dining. So it was all new for me and I was excited to be part of it. And then we were very, very hands-on because we were young then and we really had to, be there. We didn't know anyone to take care of it. So we really had to start from scratch, which was great for us.
Oh, okay. So during that time, since you mentioned that there were no Mexican restaurants
There
yet,
were, but just
not
old style, yeah.
Also, that was what stemmed Mexicali ba? Or?
Yes, that was the first restaurant, and because my brothers were really looking for a place to get good burritos. They used to eat a lot of it in San Francisco, so they wanted to bring it here. And I think that's what our family's always done. We've always tried to fill a need or a gap in the market because at the time, there was none,
so that's where Mexicali came in.
Yes.
So actually, I love Mexicali. It's one of my favorite restaurants here in the Philippines. I love the enchilada, enchilada and burrito. So, how did the diverse culinary traditions of your family's restaurant, like the Mexican, Mexicali, influence your own approach to vegetarian cuisine at Corner Tree Cafe?
So I come from a family of foodies for sure. Like my sister, she lives in London now, but she lived in Italy. So she brought in a lot of, Italian influence for Cafe Mediterranean. And then my brother is with a Mexican. And our family's just always been very adventurous when it comes to food. So I think it was already all in me, By the time I opened Corner Tree, I decided it's going to be a world menu because with vegetarian food, you don't have to stick to one cuisine. That's the beauty of it. You can go anywhere you want, as long as there's no meat, right? So I have in our menu, we have Japanese, Italian, whatever, Mexican, Greek, African even. So I think my family helped instill that love for international or just every kind of cuisine.
Yes, actually, I noticed that when I went to Corner Tree Cafe. So I noticed in the menu, it is a diverse option of different cuisine. But surprisingly, it's all vegetarian. And actually, most of them I tried it. My favorite is arroz a la cubana.
That's number one.
So that's my favorite, arroz a la
That's the
cubana.
top seller at the cafe.
I love it very much. So, with that, did your family encourage or discourage your decision to focus on vegetarian food, considering their established non-vegetarian restaurants?
Right. So my family didn't really have a big influence in my decision to open the cafe. In fact, at the start, they were even making jokes about it, like, just open na lang a steak place and all that. So they were just, no, that my family did not really have a big influence on that. That was really my discovery of the cuisine in London and the UK when I was visiting my sister, and she was vegetarian at the time, and she would just whip up a meal like, wow, this is really good. And me, my concept of vegetarian food at the time was like everyone else's. It's like just gulay, boring, salad, stir fry. But then when I saw in London, I started getting curious. So we were going to other vegetarian cafes there, and I realized it's mainstream here. It's not like it's not weird. It's just normal food with wine, with beer. It's just no meat, diba? So, and I loved it, and I started getting obsessed with the cuisine. I started buying cookbooks. Wala pang internet masyado. So I started buying cookbooks and getting really obsessed with the cuisine, because I was like, this is too exciting. How can we not have it in Manila? For me, so that was my drive at the time. Of course, the reasons for putting up a vegetarian cafe became deeper later on, soon after, because then you realize, wow, we have no dead animals in the kitchen. We're helping the planet. We're becoming healthier. So all those bonuses came actually after I decided to open this restaurant. I was like, then of course, I really got into it, and it helped a lot. It helped me with my health, and
So it's actually Corner 3 Cafe is the very first vegetarian restaurant here in the Philippines.
No. For sure, no. No, there have been others. In fact, there have been a few, but I think the style of vegetarian food before was like either turo-turo, like in what do you call that? In food courts. There were a few. And then some opened also before but didn't work out, so maybe they came in too early and it wasn't the right time. Maybe. Or maybe the approach was not what people were looking for. So for me, I realized that if I love this food, I'm sure others will,
Yes. So when you first opened Corner 3 Cafe, you didn't have any hard time like parang getting any customers, kasi syempre it's a niche market,
right? No, I think from the start, like food bloggers picked it up right away. Like Awesome Planet or JJ Yulo or whatever. I'm like, I didn't even know how they knew it, but they wrote about it and put us on the map, and put us in people's minds, and so people got curious. So and then they realized, ang sarap nito, I mean, they realized I would get a lot of people saying, I can go vegetarian if it's this good. So people never realized how good vegetarian food could be, So that's how it kind of started. Sorry,
that's how it started. So you mentioned earlier that you got obsessed with the vegetarian cuisine, reading cookbooks. So most of all of the menu of Corner 3 Cafe, you were the one who made.
That was my most interesting part of this thing, coming up with a menu, because people were asking me, how could you come up with that menu? I'm like, for me, it was a matter of which do I remove. I wanted so much stuff in the menu. I had a whole list and I had to, whittle it down so that it's not too much. In fact, it's still a big menu, people say, but I love that whole diversity of different cuisines and different kinds of, not just cuisines, there's starters, there's mains, there's sandwiches, there's soups. So I really wanted to put all of that in. So my problem was actually keeping it small, the menu,
You're very passionate with your craft.
Like, I want this, but I want this, so.
But did you have any background in culinary, or just really a foodie? Like, you really
I just like to eat. I don't even like to cook. I'm not a great cook. But I hired good people. But for me, I approved everything. I approve everything that goes into the menu. Some of the dishes we tried with my cooks wouldn't go in. This is not great or okay lang. But for me, everything has to be excellent. and anything I put in. Even the salad dressing of the side salad, you know, which people sometimes say, "Ay, salad lang naman."
Yes.
Even that, even like some French customers said, "This is really good. Your side salad." So for us, everything had to be excellent.
Yes,
in
I agree.
my mind.
Well, I agree with you because I didn't just try the arroz a la cubana. I also tried the Greek, the what you call it? The filo.
triangles,
Yeah,
yes.
I love it. The filo vibes, and then there's one. What do you call this? The kare kare.
Yeah, the Filipino.
Filipina.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, if this is their bestseller, arroz a la cubana, I must try the other dishes. Everything is excellent.
And for me, the arroz a la cubana came because I was very vegetarian, and I said, I miss the arroz a la cubana. I wanted it, but then, you know, if you make it with tofu, which we do, it would be mushy, right? I mean, so we had to keep figuring out how to get that correct consistency of the tofu so that it's not too mushy, and we did.
It's very firm nga.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna eat it, you wouldn't think it's tofu.
Yeah, in fact, some people said, one guy said, "This is better than my grandmother's recipe," you know, a real arroz. So I was like, wow.
Yeah, I love it. That's why it's the bestseller. Was there a turning point in your life that led you to create Corner Tree Cafe? So, was it a personal conviction, or being a vegetarian? Is there a reason why you're vegetarian, or it's just a personal preference?
At the time, it started out as just a preference, and I would go to malls, look for something to eat, and like, there's nothing vegetarian. I waited, actually. I didn't plan to open a restaurant. I waited for someone to open a restaurant for like years. I'm like, tagal naman. You know, Manila's taking too long, you know. So I said, maybe I'll do this on my own.
Yes.
I mean, I tried to partner with a few other people, but it still ended up with me doing this on my own, which was in the end was a good thing.
Yeah, it's successful,
Yeah.
actually. How did you navigate the expectations and potential comparisons to your family's well-known restaurants while establishing your own unique brand?
So actually, that was not on my mind, how successful our other restaurants were, because I'm part of those other restaurants, right? I had no it has to be as good as, no. For me, I just went on, focused on the food, which for me had not existed yet in Manila. This mainstream vegetarian food, because it was always nga parang either Buddhist, Indian, whatever, Chinese, but never this vast menu. So I just focused and got excited by that. I had no thoughts about our other businesses.
It's more of like pursuing your passion. What
Exactly.
You really love.
Yeah.
That's good. And then turning it into profit. Okay. How has your experience with both family-run and independent businesses shaped your management style and approach to customer service in your restaurant?
So I think our approach is very personal. I mean, like, you know, my cafe, you feel, I don't want to sound so egotistical, but I put a lot of my soul into the restaurant. So I think people feel that.
Yes.
It's not impersonal. It's very warm. It's you know, and then I've also chatted with a lot of customers. I've made good friends there.
Yes.
Friends like good enough to like end up years later traveling together, you know. So it became a place for me of like real
personal connection.
Exactly, yeah.
Connecting with your customer.
Yeah, and I even noticed other customers connecting to the next table.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very conducive to meeting people. And I love that some women can come in alone, pick a book from our shelf, order a carafe of wine, and have a nice time by themselves, you know. So I think I love creating that whole cozy, friendly atmosphere.
It's like you're building also a community as well in Corner Tree Cafe. Actually, that's what I noticed when me and Pao dropped in by your restaurant. You were very accommodating, and then I was telling Pao, oh, she's connecting to her customers.
Yeah.
She's really talking. So I was like, oh, this is very nice because you're adding personal touch to your customers as well.
I love that.
Yes. So, what were some of the biggest hurdles you faced in introducing vegetarian cuisine to the Filipino market, and how did you overcome them?
There were no big hurdles for me because there was no competition at the time. For 5 years, I had zero competition. Because it was a new cuisine, right away, I think a lot of people were either curious or told me, finally, someone opened something that we love, right? So, so it's surprising that there were no real hurdles. I mean, some people said at the start, they didn't understand, like, so you love chicken or fish, right? I'm like, no. I had to keep explaining, like, no, this is really... So they were baffled, like, how will you survive without serving chicken or fish? I'm like, yeah, so I think just, a few customers were a bit, or someone said,
you're like skeptic.
I thought you're supposed to be healthy. Why do you serve wine and beer? I'm like, look, I'm not telling people how to eat. It's just a restaurant without meat. If you enjoy your food with wine, why not, diba?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think some people had a hard time, like, how is this gonna survive? What is this? Parang they didn't understand it at the start. And then later on,
eventually,
of course,
they got adjusted.
Yeah, and I think it's great that most of our customers are meat eaters. 80% of them. I don't know where I come up with this number, but I just look at the crowd and like, that guy eats meat. They eat. None of them are vegetarians. So I think that in itself is a small success. That I was able to cross that line of not just appealing to vegetarians or vegans. And that was my point, because Manila needed something, something like this, a healthy place that wasn't necessarily very preachy,
And you make vegetarian food fun, like parang eating fun. Kasi parang there are some people when I first heard of a vegetarian diet, I was like, oh my God, I can't eat meat, I can't enjoy food, I want to enjoy food.
Right.
But when I tried, when I tried Corner Chica Cafe, I also got curious. I was like, what is that? I'm so curious. So I asked, what's your best seller? They're like, arroz a la cubana. Okay, I'll try arroz a la cubana. When I tried it, I was like, oh, it's not that boring after all. So,
and I think that was my main drive, my main drive, because deep down, I have to admit, I grew up as a meat eater. Most of us did, right? So we grew up with fried chicken, steak, and deep down, my palate was still meat eat. I still liked meat, the flavor of meat. So that was my challenge. If I'm gonna stop eating meat, it better be good. I don't want to just go and eat like salads and all that, right? So that was my real drive, to make food as good enough for meat eaters to enjoy,
Right. What advice would you give to aspiring Filipina entrepreneurs, particularly those who want to break new ground or challenge traditional norms in the food industry?
I think with anything, and not just the food industry,
or in any industry.
Yeah, people or women or people should not be afraid to be different, right? And because I think the tendency here is to look at others and then do the same thing.
Yes.
That whole, what do you call that?
Trend.
They follow trends and then, but for me, there was a chance this wouldn't work, right? So I thought, okay, if it doesn't work, I lose money, but that money will come back one day, whatever. But parang for me, it was, if you feel something's strong enough for something, you should just go with it and not depend on what other people or say or I mean, it's good to listen to advice, of course, but if I did, I wouldn't have the cafe I have today, because people would tell me, oh, Filipinos don't like this, Filipinos don't like this, they don't like whatever, they like sweet food. I'm like, no.
Yes.
I mean, for me, if you do what you love and you feel is true to you, then and stop listening to others, then just go for it.
Your passion,
go for it.
Bet on yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
I agree. As long as you try, but if you fail, it's fine.
It's
you learn
fine.
from your mistakes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Since you're already a successful entrepreneur, so you're also a mother, right? You're a mother. So how do you find balance between your personal and professional life?
Actually, that was also a tough one because for the last 2 years, I was driving my daughter to her school from Manila to Quezon City every day for 2 years, you know. So and I run restaurants, but I couldn't go to the restaurant lunchtime. So I missed a lot. I missed out on that. But I also didn't want to sacrifice my daughter's, I mean, I wanted to keep that bond with her and not just send her to school. But now, after 2 years, my mother said, "Why don't I can help you with that? You come live here." And so I moved to Quezon City, and her driver, sometimes takes my daughter to school. Once in a while, I do too. But at least I was able to do that. Mm-hmm. And maybe the cafe did suffer a bit because of that. And then I would be too tired to go around, because I was driving to 3 or 4 different cities in a day.
Yes.
Cities, because Quezon City, Makati, whatever, So it was very tiring, and then most of the time I spent on the car, in the car. So, but now I'm back to focusing, and so that means I really wasn't able to balance it well at the time, but now there's more of a balance.
Yeah, it's more of like time management.
Yes.
Okay, my last question would be, what's next for Corner Chi Cafe? So when will be the next branch opening? Right. So we can invite people.
Yes. So right now we're still working on our branch, because we closed our Jupiter branch, right? Because the landlords needed the space. So we are opening in Poblacion, Makati, just an even smaller one, because the cafe was already small to begin with, but this is even smaller now. But I still feel that we'll be serving a need, right? Because a lot of our customers are like, "What do we do now?"
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that, and I think now I'm more open now to working with younger people, maybe, because I'm getting older. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking of different things, but even a co-op, where like-minded people can help run this, just to keep it going.
Yes.
So it's still kind of like in the air,
yes.
but right now we'll just focus on our little new branch coming up in maybe about 2 months.
All right. 2 months, okay?
Yes.
So to all our viewers, so stay tuned for that. So to everyone who is waiting for the new branch to open, like me, because I'm also a fan of Corner Chi Cafe, do you have any social media or page?
Yes, we'll definitely announce it on Facebook and Instagram.
So kindly follow Corner Chi Cafe on their socials and Facebook and Instagram for updates on the opening of their new branch in Poblacion. And you mentioned last time that we promote Mexicali as well.
Oh yeah.
So
we also have Mexicali and Chupacabra, Crying Tiger.
All right, so those are a part of her family business, but her main business is Corner Chi Cafe. Please do support and follow her socials. And again, as Chiqui said, don't be scared to be different. You need to bet on yourself to be able to pursue your passion, your goals. Don't mind what other people says about your dream. What's important is you pursue your dream. Believe in yourself that you can overcome things that come your way. Alright? Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please comment below your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.